So the new collab for Grand Summoners has been announced. Not only that, we have some exciting stuff coming out on global as well. We have a lot of stuff to talk about in this news video. I gotta make this today, then I gotta make the should you summon for tomorrow. But ladies and gentlemen, there is so much to cover. There's so much happening with the game, and it's in a pretty good spot. It's in a pretty exciting spot, especially if you're a fan of the new crossover. I think you're gonna be extremely hyped and extremely pleased with like the animations and everything they've done for it. Plus the stuff going on global is gonna be a lot of content for us to cover over the next week. So without further ado, I know you guys want to know what it is, so let's talk about the brand new collab coming to JP Grand Summoners and global probably at a later date, and that is, excuse me if I get this wrong, but I'm pretty sure you say it like this, Hatsune Miku. And this is the next collab coming to Grand Summoners, and let me just say their artwork is fantastic. Now they have showed some stuff that is talking about their kits, but nothing has been stated as to what their kits do. We have Hatsune Miku and then Sakura Miku, and these are their 5-star art followed by their awoken art. No lie, some of the best art in the game. I just hope that in the future actual GS units get this type of treatment, because whenever I talk about them improving the artwork, this is what I mean. Like, add more flavor to it, give them some backgrounds, you know, give them some more stuff that tells people like who they are and kind of like their personality, you know what I mean? So artwork fantastic, no lie, probably my 2 favorite artworks in the entire game at this point. And Hatsune Miku is gonna be an arch generator and assist with skill CT speed and consider a supporter. And then also Sakura Miku is gonna be an arch generator as well and assist with attack increases. Now me personally, I'm not really a huge fan of, I think this is called like Hololive or something like that, right? Where it's like the VTubers like singing and stuff like that. The only thing I know about Hatsune Miku is deadass Phantasy Star Online 2 and going to the concerts right before like an urgent quest. That was it. That's all I know about her, and I would only go there to get the XP buff I think that it gave. So apart from that, I don't know anything about her, but it's pretty cool. I do know that she's very big in Japan. It's kind of wild that we're actually getting a collab with technically like a rhythm game character or something. So I'm really down with it, and I'm perfectly fine. She's more like a bard from like Final Fantasy, just gonna be chilling in the back playing tons of music and shit, buffing up your team like crazy. I'm gonna be completely down with that. Of course, we're gonna be having collab equipment and everything else coming with Hatsune Miku, but for right now, that is all we know. Once we know more, I'll let you guys in on what they do and all that type of stuff. But we're gonna be getting 2 collab units. More than likely, that means no guaranteed crossover tickets. But hey, man, I'm personally really excited for this collab because more than likely, not saying anything yet, but this could be a very strong supporting cast that is actually coming. Before we get any further in the video, let me say this. If you're not subscribed yet, you should subscribe to the channel. 40% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, and it only takes 2 seconds. Because hey, if you subscribe, you don't have to keep typing in my name on the search bar 24/7 to try to watch my video. It just pops up in your sub box. So hey man, why not save yourself some time and click that subscribe button. Now, not only do we have Hatsune Miku coming out on the JP version of the game, we have 2 Cross the Blazes coming out on global literally tomorrow night at the time of recording this video. We're gonna have Cross the Blaze 5 and 6 begin simultaneously, which is insane. I have no idea what this little like puppet thing is. Now, hold on, wait, before I even get any further in this, I gotta say something. I have to state it right now. Yama P, I hate you. I don't actually hate you, but this is personal. Very personal. The fact that you put this guy in the game as a unit, I don't know who he is. He don't look good. He don't look great. The only thing I know is he's a puppet that I think Lisa or Sistina gave to Luan. The fact that you put this guy in the game before you put Rue and Roly is a disgrace. Only thing your boy OP wants in this fucking game is a Rue and Roly unit. That's it. How hard is it for me to get the homie Rue and Finn on the same team and not have to use X marks the spot or some other equip, because that's not them, bro. I want them in the game. They're part of the party and the story. Why aren't they in the game? We're gonna have an actual pretty okay Cross the Blaze banner, which actually has 3 CTB units on it. The banner is actually pretty nice. Of course, we'll talk about more of it in detail, you know, tomorrow whenever I do the should you summon. That's pretty cool. I'm going to talk about what they do in just a second, but I also want to talk about the Great Awakening Plus real quick. So this is actually the first time they ever done this, which personally I'm kind of okay with. I think some people are going to be a little bit upset if they're trying to go specifically for the true weapons, but what this is, instead of having just a Halloween banner, they actually combined the Halloween equipment banner or the Halloween CTB banner with the Great Awakening banner, and they combined them into this Great Awakening Plus where they have the Halloween equips plus the true weapons on there, which is actually pretty cool in my opinion. Of course, it does, you know, dilute the pool. Of course, like I said in my last video, if you haven't checked out the Dev Q&A, go watch that if you are a fan of GS, because there's a lot of stuff in there, a lot of information, but they are trying to catch up global to JP, so this is why we're getting kind of these, I guess, double banners, but like 2-in-1 banners, you know what I mean? Now, as far as Eagle and Baku goes, let's talk about them real quick. I want to talk about Baku first, because Baku, even though I don't like him because, you know, he got in the game before Rue and Roly as a unit, I do want to talk about his kit because he has a very unique mechanic. So his skill is seconds, 11-second cooldown, 500 break. He does 2,200% dark damage magic. He increased damage to the enemy by 10% for 6 seconds just on his skill, which is pretty good. His art is Kaboom, which is a 16,000% dark damage magic. You reduce the enemy's defense and dark resist by 30% for 10 seconds, which is still, really nice. And then his true art is very weird. He does 40,000% dark damage magic. He ingests an ally and increases party's art gauge by 30, magic damage by 200% for 15 seconds, also autofills art gauge by 4 for 15 seconds. So in the Japanese version, this is actually called Predator, I think, and in the global version, this is called Soul Eater or Ingested, one of the two. Predator feints the target for 5 seconds, so this is whenever you ingest them, and you sacrifice 30% of the target's current HP when the feint expires. Baku seems like really strong on the surface in terms of like damage. He seems like he could just nuke a boss. The only thing about him that I want to say is, of course, you ingesting an ally, you do hurt your damage, especially if you're doing a nuke with him, especially a magic nuke. It means one of your allies can't attack because, Baku just ate him. And then the damage on top of that, it's cool, but I don't know if sacrificing somebody would be good enough. I think this unit has very good synergy with maybe a unit coming out later on, or possibly a unit that's already in game that I just don't know about, that maybe benefits being on lower life. The only thing is that I don't know if you can actually target a certain unit to be eaten. Maybe it's tied to something, but if it's tied to a specific thing, maybe like the last unit who used a skill or an art or something like that, then this could have synergy with some units in game that maybe benefit being on lower HP thresholds that are magic attackers. He is a really cool unit though in terms of like his kit. It's literally the first of his kind in GS. Now moving on to Eagle, which is actually the guy that I'm really excited for. His skill is a 2,000% earth damage physical. You increase the defense by 20% for 6 seconds. His art is Gravity Wall. This is an 8,000% earth damage physical. You take all damage towards all allies. You negate own damage taken for a total of 8,000 for 25 seconds. You negate an additional 4,000 damage in Avenger mode. Now you may be like, OP, what's Avenger mode? I got you. I'm gonna tell you that in a second. True art is Absolute Tri-D. I don't know why, but I feel like I have to say no homo after this. 30,000% earth damage physical, reduced damage taken by 10% for 15 seconds, additional 30,000% damage in Avenger mode, and you drain enemies' art gauge by 100 and you disengage Avenger mode. So just with that alone, before we even talk about his kit, he already sounds pretty nice. Of course, he's not like going to be one of the best tanks in the game. That's still Thetis' crown, but let's talk about his Avenger mode real quick. His Avenger mode is tied to his hatred gauge. Whenever you use Eagle, there will be a bar that's above him, and this is called his hatred gauge. Anytime you're attacking, you'll be increasing your hatred gauge. So he's a taunt tank, he's gonna be constantly taking attacks. When your hatred gauge is full, you enter Avenger mode for 60 seconds. Your Avenger mode increases your attack by your own defense and freeze and paralysis resistant by 100%. And you prevent the hatred gauge from increasing. Your hatred gauge fully drains over 60 seconds or when your true art is used during Avenger mode. Now real quick, I do want to say I don't know how the defense to attack actually works. It may be a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm not for sure if that's how it works. You guys let me know down in the comment section if you're more technical and know more about it, or you used them in JP. So I really like this Avenger mode because it's a very unique mechanic too. Two very unique units here, very cool units, and it's very nice. The only thing that I'm worried about with him, I think he doesn't get enough damage resist by himself. He seems like a very cool tank, but of course he may not be the most viable tank in every single situation. I definitely want to get him just to try him out because, very cool character. But guys, that's actually it for everything I want to talk about today in this video. A lot of stuff to cover with Hatsune Miku and plus the double Cross the Blaze units coming to global Grand Summoners. Tell me down below if you're going for any of these girls or guys on JP or if you're playing global. Another thing that I didn't mention, which I probably should have, was there's a new Crest Palace coming to global as well, which I think this takes up the space on Saturday. I think Saturday actually doesn't have a Crest Palace, and I think that will be what this Crest Palace will be taking place on. I may stream me farming it a little bit on live stream later this week, so stick to the channel if you want to see that. But hey man, thank you all for coming out again. It's me, your boy P. Tell me down below what you think about all this stuff. Really loving everything that they did with the updates on both JP and global. But guys, it's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you all for coming out again. It's been your boy P, and last but not least, man, you guys already know, don't forget to drink water.